Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Briya, and our topic for today is exploring Ayurveda for spring self-care and detox. I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Nawaraz Subedi. Dr. Nawaraz is a graduate in Ayurvedic medicine from TU in Nepal, and he is born in Nepal in the original lands of Ayurveda. He is one of the very few Ayurvedic doctors here in Ottawa. And thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Nawaraz.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you very much. And also, let me introduce Briya too. And Briya, you have been doing a great job, especially teaching Ayurvedic and Ayurveda and meditation courses. The thing I like about you is Ayurveda is very, very difficult to understand for who's not for the people who are mostly in America and Europe. We are Westerners. It's very challenging to understand those text and information content. But the way I like you express how Ayurveda is expressed very simply in your language. So I haven't seen anybody explaining Ayurveda and its theory and context in such a beautiful and easy and simple way. And so thank you very much for that. And I'm very happy to join you here today.
Thank you. Thank you. So we wanted to talk a little bit about, today we wanted to talk about spring self-care because actually we're right now living in, Ottawa has been named as the coldest capital city in the world. So we've just come out of a very, very long winter, and now it's spring, we think. It just snowed this week. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about how that shift happens within the body. Because just a few months ago, our land was covered with snow. We were in hibernation phase. And now the snow has melted. We're starting to see longer days, warmer days. The sun is out. Buds are on the trees. So there's a completely different energy in nature right now, as well as within our own bodies.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's true. Our body is always in connection with the nature. So whatever happens in the nature, that is also happens in our body. It's different thing that either we feel it or not, but it's always happening. So as you see, as you told, like winter, it has been covered with lots of snow, and the sun was mild. And now, as soon as the spring starts, the sun start becoming more powerful, and it has its effect that you can see in the earth, like snow melting, and earth starts warming up. So same thing happens in our body too. Like in winter, if you are familiar with Ayurveda, three constituents, kapha, pitta, and vata, during winter, our kapha is accumulated in our body. And as soon as the spring starts, then the kapha starts melting or starts becoming loosened and start moving and starts flowing through your body. So the spring, that's why we feel in the mind, you feel very happy, you feel joy, you feel lively, and you want to go outside, move, and see the sunshine and flowers, everything. But in the meantime, you feel very lethargic or energy. You feel like you're losing energy, you don't want to do something, your body is not trying to co-op with what you are trying to do. So the nature and in our body, it's kind of that's the effect of spring in our body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot from my clients and my students is they feel this renaissance. They're ready to learn new things and to change their whole lives. And, there's this new fresh energy, a willingness to try new things and get onto new projects. But at the same time, they're meeting this resistance within themselves where they feel really tired, or they don't want to go outside. They want to go on the couch and they want to eat waffles. And so there's like this paradox of the energy of spring, which is all about renewal, and then what they're actually meeting inside their bodies.
So yeah, that's how it is related. Is kapha is we have to understand kapha as a mass. It's kind of a slime. You can understand in that way. I'm not a literally slime, but it's if you are trying to correlate kapha with something, so you can say it's a slime or a solid or a mucus in your body. So, and when that during winter, it was on its own place. It was within the required amount or quantity in the body. But as soon as the warming up starts, the same thing happens in your body, and that kapha starts to move. So it has that kind of sticky nature. It has that kind of heaviness, coldness. That's the nature of kapha. So when it's spreading all over your body, then it gets into your channels of your body, and then starts accumulating there. So it restricts your movement. So and it's also heavy in nature. So it tries to make your body more heavier than before, and it limits your movement in your body. So and sometimes you feel you see the symptoms, like you have runny nose, you feel lethargic, you feel like heaviness in your head, heaviness in your joints, you are less hungry. Before, you don't want to eat anything, you just want to lie down on the bed, or that is the nature of kapha. That's when it's aggravated, when it's not in a good amount or quantity. But as you were saying, that when you see outside it's beautiful and your body is not responding, that is because there are two different stuff, we would say. Like mind is also trying to go out, and your kapha is also trying to go out from where it was before in the winter. And that were the impacts of kapha trying to move from their original spot in your body. And that is one of the reasons why people, and it is natural in most of the time. It doesn't mean it's okay, but it is natural. It's the effect of your nature, or the effects of weather on your body.
Yeah. I like what you're saying about the mind wanting to go out versus the body, because sometimes the mind has certain expectations. I should be doing this, or today I want to do 50 things. But then there's the reality of the body, or the body's needs, which can be different than the expectations of the mind.
Yes. So yes, the how it works is like even your body also starts. If you say body, I'm referring to kapha. So your mind also wants to go out, move. It wants to move freely wherever you want, and the same happens with kapha. It also wants to. Okay, now it's winter is finished and it's spring. I've been here for too long, maybe, or so it wants to move out as well. Yeah. So, and it's melting too. If you imagine it's with a I would say, if you can think of a butter or ghee, like in the cold it stays in its own place, but when the temperature rises, it wants to flow all over. But the mind and the body in the kapha, they are trying to show common characteristics. But the thing is, like kapha, when it starts moving, it blocks everything.
Yeah, it creates a lot of problems.
Yes. Yes. It creates lots of problems, and that limits the movement of your body and yours. That is the reason why you want to go outside, but your body doesn't.
Yeah. So coldness in the body, or stiffness in the joints, or mucus congestion, or feeling lazy, all those things, right?
Yes. And if you realize that when you wake up early in the morning, you feel like heaviness in your head as well, and the one of the symptoms or sign you see when you have too much kapha, or the kapha is increasing, is loss of appetite. Or that is when you think, first thing you want to see, okay, I'm not getting hungry as I used to be, or I'm not digesting food properly. That means you have come across some situation where kapha is not controlled, or it's out of its place.
And the bowels, the bowel movements can become more slow, right? that?
Well, it's because the digestion is poor, and
Yes.
yes, and you don't want to eat more, and its heaviness is increasing, more cold is increasing. So you might want to suppress your vata as well in your body. So, and the bowel movements are suppressed in that way.
So what are some things we can do, simple things we can do at home if we're noticing these signs of kapha movement within our bodies, which I think 99% of people listening to this are experiencing that. What can we do to take care of kapha, right? So Ayurveda deals with we deal with lifestyle practices, we deal with diet practices for our herbalism recommendations or recommendations for spices and teas. So let's start with diet. What are some things we can do with our diet to balance kapha?
So while we are talking about the seasonal effects in our body, and we are trying to follow some lifestyle that are pretty suitable for your spring, let's say, but what you have to keep in mind is you are not trying to disbalance other doses as well. So you have to watch for vata as well, and you have to watch for pitta as well. So what happens when you are not paying too much attention and you are just focused in controlling only one dose in your body? So as you said, it's moist, it's cold, it's heavy, and you are just trying to follow those foods and your daily activities that suppress those qualities of kapha. So if we are talking about in Ayurveda, there are two options. One is ahar, we call it, that is called food or diet, and bihar, that is like your daily activities. So let's say if you want to talk about ahar or food that you would always like to take, as we already mentioned, that your appetite is lost and your vision is little weaker than before. So we would always like it to take it light food, such as if you are taking grains, it's always better to take at least a year or older grains. That is, you know what I mean by that, and like not recently cultivated grains, and at least for a year, and it could be barleys or pulses or lentils, whatever you are going to take. So make sure they are not very fresh or new, so because they tend to accumulate more kapha. So and avoiding heavy or oily foods is also recommended. That is, especially during this season, and in America, I have seen like heavy and watery fruits like avocado and oranges and bananas and coconuts and dates and cucumber and
watermelon and ice cream.
Yeah, zucchini, ice cream, watermelon. We don't want to focus more on those stuff like that for now, and because they're more kapha aggravating, we say. And especially what in a simple rule is like if you try to avoid sweet, sour, and salt, those tastes we don't want to consume more. We're better like astringent or pungent or bitter taste. We recommend people to stay away from dairies as much as possible. But if you have to take milk, then we prefer like if you like goat milk, that is best for this season. If not, if you're drinking cow milk, then warm it up, add some black pepper powder or ginger powder or turmeric powder, and it is also very beneficial for you. And other things like if you are eating, if you like to eat meat, if you have a non-vegetarian, then Ayurveda recommends all those animals which are tiny and they are very active. So if you look at that way, so you want to go for like, let's say, especially rabbit meat. If you are used to with eating rabbit meats or like light birds like chicken, or but like heavy animals like no pork, no cow, no goat. If you look at that way, if you think the animal is active and it's very light, tiny, then it is okay. If you want to look at that way, but but comparatively in general, meat is considered as heavy. So if you are if you don't eat meat, that's perfect. But if you have to take meat, then those animals are preferred during the spring season.
So talking about what you're saying about the kapha, so having foods that help the kapha move, like black pepper, like spring onions are very, very good. I think ginger, food with ginger. I know salt, because salt for kapha will create more of a, it'll increase the weight retention, right? It increases water retention, where we're trying to do the opposite. So that's why we're decreasing salt at this time of year. Yeah. And foods that are astringent, like a lot of like lentils and chickpeas, those are all astringent, like they create like a little bit of a dryness, right? That's what we're generally looking for.
Yes, like green vegetables, especially if you look at, you're telling the fact that when you look at the nature, and if you look at the nature and what is nature giving us to for the human beings during this season, if you look at those fruits and vegetables, and if you look at that way, that is the best way to see, as you said, lentils and onions and garlics and chives, and
and a lot of little green sprouts coming out of the earth, right? Like mustard greens or nettles, or any of the, like arugula. That's kind of where we're going into more of that, like the small kale.
Yes, and if you look at fruits as well, pomegranate or apples, and those are very suitable for this season. And
they're a little bit astringent, eh?
And that is about the diet. So what about your daily lifestyle? So daily lifestyle means what you do every day physically. So that is so exercising is one of the best thing to do. And if you are about in a mood to lose some weight, or if you are like watching your body weight, then spring season is the best time to start and best time to proceed, because to do that. So for that, the diet that we discussed, that is supposed to be followed, and exercising and taking warm bath, or going out for a walk, or and so if we follow those seasonal recommendations, then it is very suitable time for you work on your weight as well.
So dry skin massages or dry skin scrubbing can be done. I guess people who have self-exfoliation practices, daily massage, they can do less of that. Like maybe they'll have to follow their own digestion and follow their own body to see if it's necessary, or if they might want to go without it for a few weeks. Is that right?
Yeah. So if you are, that's an important point. If you are following, if you are going for a massage, if you are doing that on a regular basis, so during spring, we don't want, we would like to recommend people not to use any kind of oils or anything like that for now. So what we call it is dry body massage, or scrubbing. I don't know if we can say that. So you don't want to use any oils or any kind of moist things. But you can just rub, like people do massage with chickpeas flour, and some people use sandalwood powder, and some people even use amla powder.
For most people, in French herbalism or French tradition, we also do green clay. You use the green clay, and so you can do. It's also drying, and it helps remove toxins from the pores. And you can do your face, or you can do your whole body. Not several times, maybe just once or twice for the spring season, and it really has a really rejuvenating effect. It's really has a really positive effect on the body and the mind. Yeah.
You can also practice like the breathing exercise that we call pranayam in yoga, and there are different kind of pranayams or breathing techniques. But if you are watching your weight, if you want to get control of your kapha in your body, then you can do Kapalbhati pranayam, if you know that. And
Breath of fire. It's on my website. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So there are cooling breathing exercise and warming breathing exercises. So if you want to control your kapha during this season, then like Anulom Vilom and Kapalbhati, and yes, so those are recommended as well in a breathing exercise.
Very good. My students. So for lifestyle, we want to promote movement. We want to promote heat. We want to allow a little bit of time to rest, right? But we don't want to get really stuck in like too much kapha lethargy. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. That is in Ayurveda. If you go there, it is strongly contraindicated. It is not recommended to having a day sleep. If you don't want to sleep on the day during sleep season, because sleeping on the daytime is accumulating more kapha. Let's say some people are too skinny and they want to gain weight. Ayurveda suggests them to take heavy foods, take daytime sleeping, but we are trying to control kapha. So especially if you are it's okay if you're working too long and if you want to take a 5 or 10 minute nap, that is perfectly fine. But some people and body also wants to do that, right? As we talked earlier, that body doesn't want to go anywhere. It just want to lie down on a couch or bed. So body wants to do that. As soon as you take your lunch or your food, then it feels then we feel like, oh, I want to go for sleep or something during daytime, which is that is one of the important factor that you have to consider, that if you feel sleepy during daytime, you have to try avoiding that by doing taking deep long breath and doing pranayama or kapalbhati or even nadi sodhan breathing. People like to drink coffee or like energy drinks filled with those to feel more fresher, I think. But it is better not. It is not. We don't recommend people to drink too much coffee or tea. Instead of those drink, you can make your own drink using like cinnamon powder and what do we call it, black pepper and other herbs that are spicier in nature. And even ginger tea is very good if you if you can replace your tea and coffee and your other caffeinated drink with those tea made of those herbs, then it is very good for your kapha disbalance.
Yeah, it's important. I think that's really important to say, because sometimes when we feel this lethargy or this low energy, we tend to want to grab sugar or alcohol or stimulants of some kind, sometimes extra food or caffeine. So sometimes you can deplete the body for the rest of the year if we go too much into caffeine. So a little bit is okay. Like if you're doing, 1 or 2 cups a day or something, depending on your body type or your lifestyle, is fine. But you want to be careful that you're not going, especially right now with the world situation being what it is, you want to make sure that you're not depleting your body by relying more than you would be normally on stimulants. So a little bit is okay, is what you're saying, but you also want to find like those healthy sources of energy, which come from within you, or come from the sun, or come from exercise, or come from just resting for 20 minutes. Yeah, good chai in the afternoon, really.
Yeah, chai. Yeah. So actually, I don't know.
Caffeine free,
Exactly. Like even you can make if you're mint, you can make mint tea, and so you just and pour some honey. If it's wild honey or pure raw honey, then
Yeah.
you can use if you don't like just the plain pepper and cinnamon tea, then you can use those. Even maple syrup is good.
Mhm. And Ayurveda also recommends generally we do some kind of cleansing and right now obviously we can't go to massage places, but Ayurveda does recommend some kind of either a khichdi fast or a khichdi diet or some kind of home cleanse program just to really help if the channels of elimination are moving and are circulating and want to get rid of this excess kapha, keeping a very simple diet for a few days can really be helpful. Can you talk a little bit about that, or are you're available to support people? I think if they want to design a home cleanse program.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, I can. But this home cleansing techniques or whatever are expressed or whatever are explained in the Ayurvedic context, they have to be done under some kind of supervision, or at least you have to know your body type very well.
Yes.
So it's so what I recommend people is you can absolutely do your home cleansing on your own after you have been identified your body type, that is mentally and physically. So if you are talking to an Ayurvedic expert or some practitioner or people like Briya, and you can find out your body type. So after that, you can start doing body cleansing, right? You can do for general purpose. If you are just worried about the spring seasonal like kapha disbalances, then we can recommend Nasi Karma. I don't know if you have heard it. So you can just use medicated oils or non-medicated oils, or even pure ghee. You can do that Nasi Karma while you are before you go to bed or early in the morning.
A medicated treatment for the nasal passages, right?
Nasal passages, and that is also that is considered as one of the good practice to do to control your kapha. I think the first time if you want to do something at home to control your kapha, I think Nasi Karma, Nasi are like putting medicated oil through your nostrils, and that is something simple you can do at home without any.
Like simple things like taking khichdi, taking triphala powder, which is the natural formula for detox, avoiding sweets, avoiding dairy for a week, that kind of thing is
I don't know. Khichdi, Briya, how do you what do you call khichdi? Because I have seen people like we were talking about khichdi, but we were on different pages of khichdi. So I just wanted to make sure we are talking about the same khichdi that we are. I don't know if you.
That's true.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because a lot of the recipes that I've seen in modern, like Western Ayurveda books, they recommend yellow mung beans and white rice. But I find white rice, I'm like not sure about it. So I prefer like brown rice and yellow mung beans. Sometimes I'll do it with green mung beans.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do it with red lentils if I just want to make something simple. Yeah. Sometimes I do it also. A lot of people don't like rice, so I'll recommend with quinoa, and I say that's also fine.
Yeah, that's right. As you say, mung rice is very best for kaphas, and it's a practice in Nepal and India and maybe here that if somebody's not feeling well, somebody is sick, they start feeding them khichdi made with rice and red mung dal, and which is a very good point that you have brought it here, because it's a very simple recipe. You can just buy moong dal anywhere, and you have rice, and you can just boil it, add a little bit of salt, a little bit of peppers, a little bit of some herbs, and then that's very good. And another thing is you were saying about fasting.
Mm-hmm.
So fasting is mostly it aggravates your vata. So
Yeah.
and it is mostly used in so when you have fasting, your body doesn't want too much to digest. It wants to rest,
Mm-hmm.
and it want to accumulate too much kapha. And so fasting is one of the way you can control your seasonal disbalances as well.
Mm-hmm.
And but fasting and khichdi, they can go hand in hand. Like let's say once or twice a week you can go for khichdi, and once or twice a week you can go for fasting.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be a very good idea too.
Mm-hmm.
Besides those all stuff, you can always practice spiritual practices as well. You can and that's what Briya has been telling us about. And
Yeah.
yoga and
That's one of the
meditation.
best ways, right? In the text, that's what they say is one of the best ways to balance all three doshas all year is just to have a very simple, sustainable daily home sadhana or spiritual practice. And that can include, well, traditionally it would be yoga, maybe some breath work, breathing exercises like pranayama, and then meditation. So you're balancing all three, you're balancing the physical and the mind also, and all the doshas through that practice. So that I would really encourage people to consider that, making that part of your daily routine, because it really makes a big difference in your health all year round, and how attuned you are also to the elements and the changes of your body, and helping you naturally to align with the seasons.
Yes, absolutely. That's so in Ayurveda we say that a well-being or your health is not just your physic, it's also your mental status. So and your spiritual well-being as well. I think so yoga, it's not only about ahar and bihar, that diets and your daily activities, but you have to balance your spirits as well. That's why we have yoga and meditation, and that comes under a healthy person's definition. So we don't want to forget that part, and that is the thing that is like we discussed that at the very end, but that is the topmost priority that we have to give it.
Yeah, because when you have that connection to, you can say yourself, or you can say to your own harmony, or you want to just whatever that connection is for you, it puts everything else into context, I think.
Yes.
And all the changes we're seeing in the world as well, it gives you a space where every day you're committed to coming back to that place.
Yes.
And
So also that while discussing this thing about kapha and stuff, we many people are, the situation right now, and so they might be facing more mental stresses, or they don't know what's going to happen, and they're stressed out, or they have kind of like they feel like they are lost or something.
yes.
So and that is a normal body reaction or your mental reaction to whatever the situation is. So what we would like to stress is, like, when you are trying to balance one of your dosa, make sure that you are not spoiling the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So some people, due to those this stress, the stress these days, some people may not exactly feeling what we should normally feel during spring. They might be aggravating their vata due to their stressful mental status or some other reasons. And so you have to watch for that as well. Like, it doesn't mean that every person is responding to spring season in a similar fashion, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So yes, yeah, absolutely. And then we just want you to focus on how your body is responding to the nature, and how your mind is responding to the situation. So that way, maybe you can try to find out what dosa is more active in your body's system right now. So then it's always you have to judge either by an expert, or you have to, if you have some idea, then you can just by looking at the signs and symptoms. And it doesn't necessarily mean like during spring every person has their kapha aggravated. It is
because I'm working with a lot of people who either they're older, like after 50, or even young people who have very deranged vata. So symptoms like just a lot of anxiety, like constant stress response, like a sensitive nervous system, or things like constipation, insomnia. So as much as spring brings up certain things, it's important to keep an eye as well on vata, which would be those signs, or pitta, which would be, a whole different conversation, which we haven't had today, but we'll have soon, I think.
Whatever the condition that we discussed are for normal people, like for general people. But if you are like, if you have been sick, either physically, or if you have been stressed out mentally or emotionally, or whatever is happening in your life, it could be different in your situation. So it's always better to take care of those facts as well.
Yeah. And sometimes to get feedback from someone, like a consult, to learn about the principles of Ayurveda, you could take a course with me if you want, or to work with you to get like a consultation or a specific plan. That would be really a good way to get to know your own body more and to help care for each of the doshas in a way that sustains you over the long term.
Yeah, sure. And I'm always more than happy to, if anybody wants to know the constituent of their body, and how does their body is described in Ayurveda, how does their mental status or their spirits is described in Ayurveda, we can always talk about that. And I'm always willing to help them in whatever way they want. And
very good. We'll provide some information below for people to contact you if they want to learn more, or perhaps to do a consultation, or even if they're interested in maybe doing a home cleanse, maybe they could send you an email and find out more details on that. And people interested, I'm also teaching in Ayurveda. Our course is almost done for the summer, but we'll be starting again in the fall. It's called Ayurveda for Vibrant Living, and we have a lot of fun. So I also have some other upcoming meditation classes if people are interested in learning more about that. Yeah. Including one on daily spiritual practice. So.
Yeah, and sure, yeah, and so maybe we can always work together, and we can always discuss on these important topics, and so that it would be beneficial for your clients and for the community as well. And whoever is interested in Ayurveda and their body type, and then the whole thing is spirituality. And it's been actually a very I'm very happy to talk to you about these topics here, and because I know you have been working on that stuff for the last 8 years or so, and it's a great pleasure to talk to you.
It's really enriching for me too to get it right from someone who's studying who's practiced in the traditional lands as well. Like, it's really great to go right back to the source and to be able to have that conversation, so I'm really happy as well. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Nawaraz, and we'll be sure to do we'll have another conversation very, very soon.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to write to us. You can reach out to me at briyafreeman@gmail.com. Thank you.